The large viewing window of the Earth diplomatic vessel Pathfinder showed the vast space station ahead. Captain Alan Carter stood with his hands behind his back, watching as they approached the center of galactic politics. After 200 years of space travel, humans were finally joining the Galactic Council. "Nervous, Captain?" asked Ambassador Susan Miller as she joined him. Alan gave a small smile. "A bit. Humanity has waited a long time for this day." The Pathfinder docked with gentle precision. Alan, Susan, and 5 other crew members prepared to meet the aliens who would become their new allies. Dr. William Johnson, the ship's xenobiologist, checked his data pad one last time. "Remember," Susan told the team, "we represent all of Earth today." They walked through the airlock into a massive hall filled with beings from 17 different species. Some looked almost human. Others were completely different, floating. Gas clouds, crystalline structures, and towering reptilians. A blue-skinned humanoid approached them. "Welcome to the Central Council Station. I am Coordinator Zeliv. We are pleased to finally welcome humans to our community." Susan stepped forward. "Thank you, Coordinator. We bring greetings from Earth and all human colonies." As the formal introductions continued, Alan noticed a group watching from the side. They stood on 4 legs with 2 sets of arms. Their bodies were covered in hard, shiny plates like insects. Their eyes, 4 on each face, never blinked. "The Vexari delegation," Zeliv said, following Alan's gaze. "One of our eldest member species." The Vexari made no move to greet the humans. Their mandibles clicked rapidly, communicating among themselves. The welcome ceremony moved to a large round chamber where representatives from each species sat at a curved table. The human delegation was given their seat, the newest and 18th member of the galactic community. As the council head spoke about cooperation and peace, Susan nudged Alan. She subtly pointed to the Vexari representatives. They were passing small devices among themselves, their upper limbs making quick movements. "Something's not right," she whispered. Later, at the reception, Dr. Johnson approached Alan with concern on his face. "Captain, I've been reviewing the biological data the Council provided on all member species," he said quietly. "The Vexari information is incomplete. There are gaps in their neural structure documentation." "Could be an oversight," Alan suggested. "Possibly. But only their data has these gaps. Every other species is fully documented." Across the room, a Vexari representative approached. It moved with unsettling smoothness, its hard exoskeleton gleaming under the lights. "Humans," it said. Its voice came from a translator device. "I am Delegate Curvex. We have observed your species development with interest." Alan nodded respectfully. "We look forward to learning from your civilization." "Indeed." The Vexari's mandibles clicked rapidly. "Your kind developed quickly. Some might say, too quickly." Susan stepped forward. "The Council found us ready for membership. The Council does not always see clearly." The Vexari's 4 eyes fixed on them. "Some species are not meant to leave their worlds." Before they could respond, the Vexari turned and walked away. That night, Alan found Susan in the ship's observation deck staring at the stars. "Trouble sleeping?" he asked. "I can't shake this feeling," she said. 17 species welcomed us today, but those Vexari—" "I know. Johnson is digging deeper into their biology and history." Susan turned to him. "Do you ever wonder why we never found any evidence of other civilizations during our early explorations? We searched for 2 centuries before the Council contacted us." Alan looked out at the vast station that housed the representatives of thousands of worlds. "Maybe some questions are better left unanswered," he said quietly. Neither of them saw the small probe detaching from their ship, transmitting data back to Vexari space. Neither knew that deep in their secret archives, the Vexari had already classified humans as Extinction Priority Alpha. The last species that had earned that classification no longer existed among the stars. 3 months passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council. The excitement of first contact had faded into the daily work of diplomacy. Earth's colonies continued to expand on the edges of human space, with new outposts being built each month. Nancy Green sat at her communications station on New Horizon, the furthest human colony. Her job was to monitor all signals from the deep space beyond human territory. Most days were quiet. Today was different. "That's strange," she said, adjusting her headset. The signal came again, a brief burst of data that didn't match any known pattern. Nancy recorded it and sent a message to Earth Command. Over the next week, similar signals appeared near 5 different human colonies, all on the edge of explored space, all brief, all mysterious. Fleet Admiral George Brown didn't like mysteries. When the report from Nancy Green reached his desk, he called an emergency meeting. "We have unknown ships moving near our borders," he told the gathered officers in Earth Command's secure room. "They don't answer hails. They don't use known travel lanes." Commander Linda Parker spoke up. "Could it be a new species not part of the Council?" "Possible," said Admiral Brown. "But our Galactic Council representatives say no unknown spacefaring species have been discovered in this sector for over 300 years. 2 days later, the mining colony on Proxima 6 went silent. All communications stopped. Then Rigel Station also went dark. Admiral Brown ordered immediate action. "Commander Parker, take the scout ship Vigilant and find out what happened. Take a small team only. We need speed and stealth." The Vigilant reached Proxima 6 in just under 3 days. Commander Parker and her team of 5 approached with caution. "No signs of battle damage," said Officer Paul Evans, as they scanned the colony from orbit. "Power systems are functioning, but there are no life signs." They landed near the main habitat dome. Wearing full environmental suits, they entered the colony. "It's like everyone just vanished," said Dr. Maria Jones, the team's medical officer. The living quarters were untouched. Food sat on tables. Workstations were still running programs, but all 157 colonists were gone. In the Mining Control Center, Commander Parker found the security logs. The final entry showed a large ship approaching the colony. Not human design. Not any Council species they recognized. Then the recording ended. "Look at this," called Officer Evans from the resource processing plant. The entire storage facility was empty. All refined minerals, all processed ores, gone. They found the same scene at Rigel Station. No people, no resources, just empty buildings with signs of normal life suddenly interrupted. But at Rigel they found something else. A small piece of technology left behind in the station's main airlock. Officer Evans scanned it carefully. "It's biological in nature. Some kind of weapon, I think. And these markings..." He paused. "Commander, these look like Vexari script." Commander Parker took the device. "Are you sure? The patterns match what's in our database, but they've been deliberately scratched to make identification difficult." When they returned to Earth, Admiral Brown took their evidence to the human representatives on the Galactic Council. Ambassador Miller presented their findings to the full council. "2 of our colonies have been attacked. All our people are missing. We have evidence that Vexari technology was used." The chamber grew silent. Then the Vexari delegate rose. "These accusations are insulting," it said through its translator. "The technology shown could be from any number of sources. It proves nothing." The council head, a tall being with pale blue skin, spoke slowly. "Does humanity have any other evidence? Witnesses? Recordings of the actual attacks?" Ambassador Miller had to admit they did not. "Then the council cannot act on unsubstantiated accusations against a respected elder species," the council head declared. As the human delegation left the chamber, Susan Miller noticed something disturbing. None of the other species would meet their eyes. It was as if they were afraid, or as if they knew something they couldn't say. "They're hiding something," she told Captain Carter later. "All of them." Meanwhile, on a Vexari vessel far from Council space, humans from the 2 colonies floated in green liquid tanks, their bodies connected to machines that studied their neural patterns, their consciousness slowly being harvested for purposes no human yet understood. The attacks on human settlements increased. In the 6 weeks after Proxima 6 and Rigel Station went silent, 3 more colonies disappeared. Each time the pattern was the same. Everyone vanished, all valuable resources taken, and only the faintest traces of Vexari technology left behind. Earth's government declared an emergency. Military ships began escorting civilian vessels. Colony defenses were strengthened, but the attackers simply moved to easier targets. Then came the attack on Freedom Research Station. Unlike the small mining colonies, Freedom Station housed over 5,000 people, scientists, families, and support staff. It orbited a gas giant in the Tau Ceti system, studying exotic atmosphere compounds. When the distress call reached Earth, it was already too late. The Defender, a military cruiser, arrived 18 hours after the attack. Security Officer Jack Wilson led the first team aboard the station. "My God," he whispered as they entered the main lab. The floor was covered with dried blood. Empty tanks lined the walls. Equipment for biological extraction stood in the center of the room. In the station's computer core, they found video recordings. The last entry showed the attack. 3 massive ships surrounded the station. Creatures in sealed suits breached the outer doors. The security feed showed the station's people being rounded up, sorted by age and health, then taken away. Jack found one final recording. A Vexari commander spoke directly to the camera in broken human language. "Your consciousness patterns, unique, valuable, will be studied, will be harvested." Lieutenant Kate Adams worked in Earth Intelligence. When reports from Freedom Station reached her desk, she began connecting patterns no one else had seen. She requested access to the Galactic Council's historical archives. As a junior member species, humans had limited access, but Kate was very good at getting information she wasn't supposed to have. What she found disturbed her deeply. 6 other species had disappeared from the galactic community over the past 3,000 years. Each time, the official record claimed, they had suffered natural disasters or internal conflicts. Each time, the Vexari had expanded their territory soon after. Kate also found mentions of the Vexari's unique biology. Their hive consciousness depended on neural patterns harvested from other sentient species. They didn't just kill, they consumed the very essence of thinking beings. She took her findings to Admiral Brown and Ambassador Miller. Together, they presented the evidence to the full Galactic Council. Ambassador Miller stood before the gathered representatives. "The attacks on human colonies follow exactly the same pattern as the disappearance of the Talari 300 years ago, and the Meson before them, and 4 other species, all conveniently forgotten." The council chamber remained silent. "We have proof the Vexari are harvesting humans for their neural patterns," Miller continued. "They've done this before. You've all allowed it to happen." The Vexari delegate rose. "Humans are dangerous. Your minds produce frequency patterns that disrupt our communion. Your existence threatens the harmony of superior species. Your elimination is necessary for galactic stability." The council head spoke. "This is a serious accusation, delegate. The council does not condone the extinction of member species. Yet you've allowed it 6 times before," Ambassador Miller said coldly. The room erupted in angry clicks, hums, and translated shouts. In the chaos, a small representative from an ancient species approached Susan Miller. "They will not help you," the alien whispered. "The Vexari control too many resources. Too many council members depend on their technology." "Then humanity stands alone?" Susan asked. "It would not be the first time a young species faced extinction," the alien replied. "But perhaps the first time one might survive it." As the council argued, a priority alert reached Admiral Brown. The Vexari had launched a major assault on humanity's largest off-Earth colony, New Eden, in the Proxima Centauri system. Home to over 15 million humans, the war for survival had begun in earnest, and humanity had just realized how alone they truly were among the stars. The Vexari attack on New Eden was unlike anything humans had experienced before. A fleet of 27 massive ships appeared in the Proxima Centauri system. Colony Governor Frank Martin ordered an immediate evacuation, but there wasn't enough time. "All available ships, get our people out," he ordered from the colony's defense center. "Priority to children and medical facilities." Only 37 ships escaped before the Vexari blocked all exit routes from the planet. Governor Martin led the ground defense with the colony's small security force and civilian volunteers. "They're not just killing people," he reported in his final transmission to Earth. "They're processing them, taking them alive. We found giant harvest ships landing in the northern continent." The video feed showed thousands of captured humans being marched into massive processing facilities. Inside, people were placed in tanks filled with green liquid. Machines extracted neural patterns while keeping the bodies alive. "This is what they want from us," Governor Martin said, his face grim. "Our consciousness, our minds. That's what makes us valuable to them." His transmission ended when Vexari forces breached the defense center. When the recording reached Earth, the United Earth government called an emergency session. Director of Defense Olivia Davis activated a protocol that had existed since humanity's earliest days in space, the Extinction Response Protocol. "As of this moment, all human resources will be devoted to ensuring our survival," she told the assembled world leaders. "All shipyards will build warships. All research will focus on weapons and defense. We face an enemy that will not stop until humanity is extinct." No one objected. The vote was unanimous. On the Pathfinder, now returned to Earth orbit, Dr. William Johnson made a crucial discovery. He had been studying the Vexari biology data for months, looking for weaknesses. "Their hive consciousness has a vulnerability," he explained to Captain Carter and Ambassador Miller. "Their neural network operates on specific frequencies. It's how they maintain their group mind across vast distances." He showed them brain scan comparisons between humans and Vexari. Human brains naturally produce patterns that disrupt their frequencies. It's not enough for one human or even 100, but millions of human neural patterns together? That would be devastating to their entire communication system. "That's why they attacked us first," Susan Miller realized. "We're a threat to them, just by existing. And the more of us there are, the bigger the threat," Captain Carter added. Dr. Johnson nodded. "Exactly. If we could amplify our neural patterns and direct them at their hive centers, we could disrupt their entire civilization," Carter finished. For the next 3 months, humanity prepared for war like never before. Every nation, every colony that remained, worked together. Old conflicts were forgotten in the face of extinction. Weapon developer Henry Martinez led a team creating what they called the resonance cannon, a device that could amplify and project human neural patterns as a weapon against the Vexari. "It won't kill them directly," he explained to Admiral Brown, "but it will shatter their hive-mind connection, make them unable to coordinate, unable to function as a society." On July 7th, the Vexari launched their main attack. A fleet of over 100 ships entered the Sol system, heading for Earth. They expected to find a frightened, disorganized species ready for harvesting. Instead, they found the largest human fleet ever assembled waiting at the orbit of Jupiter. 500 ships of all sizes formed a defensive line. At their center was the newly built dreadnought Defiance, carrying the first prototype of the resonance cannon. As the two fleets faced each other across the void, Admiral Brown sent a simple message to all human ships: "Remember New Eden. Today we show the galaxy what happens when someone threatens humanity with extinction." The greatest space battle in recorded galactic history was about to begin. The battle for Jupiter's orbit began with a blinding flash as the Vexari fired their first volley. Human ships scattered in practiced formations, returning fire with everything they had. Admiral Brown watched from the bridge of the Defiance. "Hold the line," he ordered. "We need time to charge the resonance cannon." The human fleet fought with desperate courage. Every pilot, every gunner, every engineer knew what would happen if they failed. Earth would become just another harvested world. The Vexari ships moved with unnatural coordination. Their hive mind allowed them to act as one massive organism, each ship a mere extension of their collective will. They focused their attacks on the smaller human vessels first, overwhelming them with superior numbers. "They're breaking through Sector 7, reported Officer Beth Howard from her tactical station. "Redirect the 3rd and 5th squadrons to reinforce," Admiral Brown ordered. "The cannon needs 10 more minutes." On the weapons deck of the Defiance, Henry Martinez and his team worked frantically to stabilize the resonance cannon. The massive device hummed with power, its core glowing blue as it collected neural patterns from the thousands of crew members throughout the ship. Power fluctuations in the main emitter, called one of the technicians. Reroute through the secondary systems, Henry ordered. We only get one shot at this. The battle grew more desperate by the minute. Human ships fought valiantly, but they were outnumbered. The Vexari pressed their advantage, pushing closer to the Defiance. Captain Samantha Lee commanded the cruiser Intrepid on the front line. Her ship had taken heavy damage, shields failing and hull breached in multiple sections. Captain, the Vexari flagship is approaching the Defiance, her tactical officer reported. If it gets a clear shot at them before the cannon is ready. Captain Lee made her decision. All power to engines, plot an intercept course. Ma'am, our shields are almost gone, her first officer objected. I know. She opened a channel to all hands. This is the captain. We're going to buy the Defiance the time it needs. It has been my honor to serve with you all. The Intrepid burned its engines beyond safety limits, accelerating directly toward the massive Vexari flagship. Point defense weapons fired frantically at the approaching cruiser, but Captain Lee's helmsman was too skilled weaving through the fire. Arm all remaining warheads, she ordered. Target their command center. The Intrepid rammed into the side of the Vexari flagship, its remaining missiles firing at the moment of impact. The explosion tore through the alien vessel's midsection, sending it spinning off course. On the Defiance, Admiral Brown watched the sacrifice with grim determination. They've given us our chance. Status of the resonance cannon? Ready to fire. Sir? Henry Martinez reported from the weapons deck. Target the Vexari flagship. Fire when ready. The Defiance turned its bow toward the damaged Vexari vessel. The front of the human ship split open, revealing the resonance cannon, a massive array of focusing crystals surrounding a pulsing blue core. The cannon fired. Not a beam of light or energy, but a wave of pure neural resonance. The combined thought patterns of thousands of humans, amplified and focused into a weapon. The wave struck the Vexari flagship. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then the massive ship began to drift. Its coordinated movements became erratic. Lights flickered across its hull. It's working, Martinez reported excitedly. The resonance is disrupting their hive mind. The effect spread to nearby Vexari vessels. Their perfect formation dissolved into chaos. Ships collided with each other or fired at random targets. Admiral Brown didn't waste the opportunity. All ships concentrate fire on disoriented targets, don't let them recover. The human fleet surged forward, targeting the confused Vexari vessels. For the first time, humanity had found a weapon that could match the ancient species' technological advantage. The battle continued for hours. Human casualties were enormous. Over half the fleet destroyed or disabled. But when the fighting finally ended, the remaining Vexari ships retreated, jumping to faster-than-light speed in disarray. Humanity had won its first major victory. But the war had only just begun. The victory at Jupiter changed everything. For the first time, a species had successfully fought back against the Vexari. News spread quickly through the Galactic Council, despite attempts to suppress the information. 2 weeks after the battle, Admiral Brown called a meeting of Earth's military leadership. The room was tense with both hope and caution. We've proven we can hurt them, he said, looking at the assembled commanders. But they still control vast territories. They still hold millions of our people captive, and they won't stop coming. Director Davis nodded. Our intelligence suggests they're regrouping, adapting their ships to resist the resonance cannon. Then we need to strike now, said Commander Richard Taylor, a young officer known for his bold tactics. Before they can prepare. Admiral Brown studied the star maps projected in the center of the room. The problem is reaching their core territories. They've set up defensive lines here and here. He pointed to key star systems. We'd lose too many ships breaking through. Commander Taylor stepped forward. There might be another way. He looked to Dr. Amy White, the physicist who had joined the meeting. Tell them what you found, Doctor. Dr. White adjusted her glasses nervously. I've been studying the Vexari transit routes. They don't use the same jump points we do. They have their own network of, well, the best way to describe them is spatial folds. She manipulated the star map, highlighting a pattern no one else had noticed. There's a hidden route here, bypassing their main defenses. It leads directly to Vexari Prime territory. Admiral Brown leaned closer. You're sure about this? The mathematics are solid, she replied. But it's never been attempted by human ships. After 3 days of debate, Operation Retribution was approved. Commander Taylor would lead a strike force of 30 ships through the spatial fold discovered by Dr. White. Their target, the Vexari homeworld's orbital defenses. The fleet gathered at the edge of human space. The ships where the best humanity had left, including 3 vessels equipped with improved resonance cannons. Commander Taylor addressed the crews from the bridge of his flagship, the cruiser Vengeance. What we do today will change the course of this war. For the first time, we take the fight to their home. We show them that humanity is not prey. We are not to be harvested. We are the storm they never saw coming. The fleet entered the spatial fold. The journey was harrowing. Strange energies buffeted the ships. Navigation systems failed intermittently. 2 vessels were lost to the void, but 28 emerged in Vexari space, undetected and unexpected. The Vexari homeworld loomed ahead, a massive planet surrounded by orbital stations and defense platforms. The aliens had never fortified their home heavily. No enemy had ever reached it before. All ships battle formations, Commander Taylor ordered. Target orbital defenses first, then communication hubs. The human fleet struck like lightning. The resonance cannons fired in coordinated sequence, disrupting the Vexari coordination before they could mount an effective defense. Fighter squadrons disabled weapons platforms while cruisers targeted the larger installations. On the Galactic Council, the news of the attack caused chaos. Emergency sessions were called. The Vexari delegates demanded immediate intervention. The Council head attempted to regain order. We must negotiate a ceasefire. This conflict could destabilize the entire sector. Ambassador Miller, who had remained at the Council despite everything, stood to address the chamber. The Vexari harvested our colonies. They processed our people like resources. They planned our extinction. Her voice was calm but carried throughout the silent room. We did not start this war, but we will finish it. There can be no peace with those who intended our extinction. The Council representatives looked at each other uneasily. For the first time in galactic memory, the Vexari were afraid. And the other species began to realize something that would change galactic politics forever. Humanity would not quietly disappear like those who came before them. A new power had emerged among the stars, one that fought back. The attack on the Vexari homeworld changed the nature of the war. For the first time in their long history, the Vexari faced an enemy who could strike at their core territories, an enemy who refused to be harvested, an enemy who fought back. Over the next 3 years, humanity methodically dismantled the Vexari civilization piece by piece. Colonel Patricia Harris developed what military leaders called the Leave No Nest doctrine. We find every hive cluster, every colony, every outpost, she explained to the United Earth Defense Council, and we eliminate them all, no exceptions. Human ships pushed deeper into Vexari space. The resonance cannon technology improved with each engagement. Soon, smaller versions could be fitted to fighters and even handheld weapons for ground troops. Many Council species, secretly relieved to see the Vexari dominance challenged, began to provide quiet support to humanity. Intelligence on Vexari movements, star charts of hidden bases, technology that could penetrate Vexari defenses. They were afraid to fight the Vexari themselves, Ambassador Miller told Admiral Brown during a strategy meeting. But they're not unhappy to see us do it. The Vexari, desperate as their territory shrank, attempted to negotiate. Their delegates approached human representatives with increasingly generous offers. We will share our neural harvesting technology, one delegate proposed. Your species could become immortal, transferring consciousness between bodies. We will give you control of 3 sectors of prime space, offered another. Worlds rich with resources beyond your imagination. Each time, the human response was the same: unconditional surrender. Nothing less would be accepted. When a frustrated Vexari diplomat asked General Daniel Scott why humans would not negotiate, the general's answer was recorded in the council archives. You chose to make us extinct. We are simply returning the Yao favor. But the war was not easy. The Vexari fought with increasing desperation as humans pushed toward their core worlds. They had existed for millions of years, evolving their hive consciousness to near perfection. They would not go quietly. Human settlements still faced attacks. Brave men and women still died in distant battles. Captured humans were still processed in the dwindling number of harvest ships. The conflict spread across hundreds of star systems. Human forces, now joined by ships and crews from sympathetic council species, methodically hunted down every Vexari stronghold. On a humid jungle world, far from the main fighting, a team of human soldiers located a Vexari research facility. Inside, they found something horrifying: thousands of stasis tanks containing humans from the captured colonies. Sergeant Laura Fisher led her squad through the facility's central chamber. "They're still alive," she whispered, looking at the floating bodies. After all this time, their neural patterns were being continuously harvested, feeding the Vexari consciousness network. Some had been in the tanks for years, their minds trapped in endless nightmare states. The rescue teams worked for days to free the captives. Many could not be saved. Their bodies lived, but their minds were gone. Others awakened screaming, forever, changed by what they had experienced. The images from the facility were broadcast throughout human space. Whatever debate might have existed about the total war against the Vexari ended that day. As the 3rd year of the offensive came to a close, intelligence located the final prize, the hiding place of the last Vexari queen, the central node of their entire hive consciousness. She had retreated to an ancient fortress world deep in uncharted space, surrounded by the last and most fanatical defenders of her species. A special operations team was assembled for the final mission. Their objective: end the Vexari threat once and for all. Commander Stephen Ross and xenobiologist Lisa Clark would lead the strike team. They knew it might be a one-way mission, but after everything humanity had suffered, no price seemed too high to pay for final victory. The fortress world of the Vexari Queen hung in space like a dark jewel. Ancient beyond human understanding, its surface was covered with structures that were part machine, part living organism. Massive defense systems surrounded it, ready to destroy any approaching ships. Commander Stephen Ross studied the holographic display showing their target. His team of 30 elite soldiers had trained for months for this mission. "We'll never break through those defenses with a direct assault," he said to the gathered team. Lisa Clark, the xenobiologist who had spent years studying Vexari biology, pointed to a small area on the display. "We don't have to. There's a maintenance tunnel here designed for drone access. It's too small for their warships to notice, but our drop pod can fit." The stealth vessel Silent Hunter carried the team to the edge of the Vexari detection grid. From there, a single drop pod launched, its hull coated with materials that absorbed scanning signals. The journey to the surface was tense. Every soldier knew that discovery meant certain death. But the pod slipped through the maintenance tunnel undetected and landed in a vast chamber filled with processing units. "Move fast. Stay quiet," Commander Ross ordered. "We have 20 minutes. Before the automated systems detect us." The team navigated through the fortress following Lisa's directions. They encountered Vexari drones and warrior caste guards, eliminating them quickly with resonance weapons. Finally, they reached the central chamber, a massive dome with a crystalline structure at its center. Inside the crystal was the Vexari Queen, twice the size of her soldiers, with 6 sets of eyes that glowed with ancient intelligence. "Humans," she spoke directly into their minds. "You have come far to die." "We've come to end this," Commander Ross replied, signaling his team to set up the resonance device. A bomb designed to shatter the Queen's neural pattern, and with it, the entire Vexari hive consciousness. The Queen's guards attacked, but the human team held them back, creating a perimeter while Lisa prepared the device. Your species is young, the Queen continued, her mental voice rippling through their minds. Barely out of your planetary cradle, yet you fight with unexpected ferocity. You gave us no choice, Ross answered, firing his weapon at an approaching guard. We had no choice either. Our predictive models showed that humans would eventually eliminate all other conscious species in the galaxy. Your minds are too independent, too creative, too dangerous. We merely attempted to solve the problem before it grew beyond control. Lisa looked up from the device. The resonance bomb is ready, Commander. 3 minutes to detonation. As the team prepared to retreat, Ross faced the Queen one last time. Was your prediction correct? The Queen asked. Does your victory today prove that humans will destroy all other life as we foresaw? Ross considered the question as his soldiers began their withdrawal. No, he said finally. It proves only one thing, that those who seek to destroy us will never succeed. Remember that in whatever afterlife you believe in. The team fought their way back to the drop pod. Behind them, the resonance bomb detonated. The crystal chamber shattered. The Queen's neural pattern, the central node that connected all Vexari, consciousness across the galaxy, disintegrated. Throughout known space, Vexari collapsed. Without the Queen's guiding mind, their hive consciousness fragmented. Some became feral, attacking even their own kind. Others simply shut down, their bodies empty shells. The war ended not with a final battle, but with the silent collapse of an entire civilization. In the years that followed, humanity emerged as a dominant council species, feared and respected. The remaining Vexari technology and territory was divided among council members, with humans receiving the largest share as compensation for their losses. Strangely, the other species rarely discussed the Vexari or the war. When a human historian asked Council Elder Zikatal about this silence, the ancient being replied, "Some lessons are best learned in silence. No one talks about the last species that provoked humanity's wrath, because we all pray there will never be another." In the great chambers of the Galactic Council, there remains an empty seat, a deliberate vacancy that no species has occupied for over 3 centuries. New delegations are quietly told that it serves as a memorial and a warning. The plaque beneath it bears no name, only a simple inscription. They chose extinction.